discussed evidence regarding devotional principles, and what were the evidences regarding devotional principles? Yes.
Accepting what is necessary, Prabhuji.
Accepting shelter of bona fide spiritual master, accepting initiation, serving the spiritual master with faith and confidence, following in the footsteps of saintly persons, inquiring about eternal religious principles, being prepared to give up everything material for Krishna's satisfaction, residing in a sacred place, accepting only what is necessary, observing fasting on Ekadashi, offering respect to the banyan tree, giving up the company of non devotees, not accepting unfit disciples, constructing many temples, straightforwardness in ordinary dealings and equilibrium in loss and gain, the demigods, and not giving pain to any living entity. So these are sub principles. Some of them are so as actually we discussed. There are 64 principles, right? There are 64 principles in relation to discharging devotional service. The first five are the primary, okay, which I think we discussed. Not yet. I think those haven't come yet. Uh, that is going to come. The five potent forms. Yeah. No, yeah. Further aspects. No? Five important principles: hearing, reciting, rendering service, serving the Lord's. No. Where is the aspects? Where is the aspects? Where is the aspects? Devotional qualification, historic life. No, not yet. Where is it? Anybody knows the five primary principles?
Accepting bona fide spiritual master, that five things you told in the beginning. Sometimes you touched upon those things.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Where is those? The five. Oh, Krishna. Which says that accepting a spiritual master, living in a holy place,
The first
reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
right. Prabhuji, chapter 6 by chance, and the second para.
Yes. No. So here, no, not this is not the one. This is not the one. This is not the one. Okay, we'll figure it out as we go through. I think, as I remember, the primary five are accepting a bona fide spiritual master, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, living in a holy place, hearing and chanting the holy names, and I think serving the devotee. So we'll come to it.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next, everybody good? Pandurang Prabhu, are you with us?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah, following.
Okay. Damodarati Mataji, are you with us?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, all right. So let's continue. So today we will discuss the offenses to be avoided. All right. So who would like to read the first 10 offenses? Rathayatra Prabhu, you think your throat will allow you to read?
And it will be better, Prabhuji, if I read. So,
Okay, all right.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
In supplementary Vedic literature, there is the following list of 32 offenses in the matter of serving the Lord. One should not enter the temple of deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the foot. Two, one should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the one. One should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as and Jagannath, Janmashtami and Rath Yatra. Three, one should not avoid bowing down before the deities. Four, one should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hands and feet after eating. Five, one should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. According to Vedic scriptures, if someone dies in the family, the whole family becomes contaminated for some time according to its status. For example, if the family in Brahman, their contamination period is 12 days. For Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, it is 15 days. For Sudras, 30 days. 6. One should not bow down on one hand. Number 7. One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulating the temple is that one should begin circumambulating from the deity's right hand side of the temple and come round. First circumambulation should be performed outside the temple structure at least 10 times daily. Number 8. One should not spread his legs before the deity. 9. One should not sit before the deity holding the ankles, elbows, or the knees with one's hand. Number 10. One should not lie down before the deity of Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Nice. Hare Krishna. So, Nilgun Prabhu, welcome. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam, All Krish, Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Jai Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Hari Bol. So we've started the 8th chapter for your
Yes, Prabhuji.
yeah, and we read the first 10 offenses. So everybody okay with the first 10 offenses?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So clear, right? One should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the feet. Why like that? Why one should not enter with the in a palanquin or shoes? Why?
Oh,
Maybe.
What is that?
By chance, you may feel proud when you are in palanquin or something. So no, people may think otherwise.
Prabhuji, it is straightforward, Prabhuji, because Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Person. So how can one come and come in front of him with so much opulence that like wearing shoes and everything? So it is disrespect for him.
Okay. Anything else?
and also cleanly purpose also, like shoes will go to different places. So we don't want to.
Okay. What else? Any other thoughts? So, actually, palanquin is a sign of one's upadhi. Palanquin or shoes. Upadhi. You know what is upadhi?
Designation, Prabhuji.
Designation, status. Right? Car. It said car, right? One should not enter temple of deity in a car. Car is a sign of status, prestige, position, right? So when we go in front of Krishna, we should give up those upadhis. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam. Right? So Krishna, as Neelgondra was mentioning, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is supreme. We are servants. Everybody is a servant in front of Krishna. Nobody is high, nobody is low. Everybody is equal. Everybody is a servant. So, no matter who we are in the material world, whether we are a king or whether we are a beggar, in front of Krishna, we are all servants. So, we should give up our upadhis. Right? We should shed the temple. Before we go in front of Krishna, we should leave all our status, designation, position, opulence, everything outside. And when we go in front of Krishna, we go very clean. We say, Krishna, I'm nobody. I'm just your servant. Right? So it's an offense to show off in front of Krishna. Is that okay? Nilgondru, is that fine?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we can see you today. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Krishna gave me intelligence to serve you better, so I thought of using a different device just to serve you all. Okay, so that's the first point. Everybody good on that? So we should actually we should be a little bit conscious when we go in front of Krishna. Or not a little bit, very conscious. So sometimes we may just do the act of removing the shoes, but we still go in with a lot of ahankar. So we should always remember that, I don't, as we are removing our shoes, we should take a few seconds and reflect that, okay, now I've removed my shoes. Now I want to remove my position. Let me go as a servant.
Very
Is
good
that right?
point, Prabhuji.
So good. we want to become conscious, right? The more we are conscious, the more we will make progress. Okay, second point. One should not fail to observe various festivals. So, observing festivals is not easy. Is that right? So, how many of you think doing festivals, observing festivals is easy?
No, but always festival is normally say any big festivals, we feel happy, right? For celebration.
We feel happy, but to organize those is a pain, right?
Yes.
Ask those who organize a festival.
Yes.
They go through a lot of tapasya, lot of intensity,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just to do a program in our home,
Yeah.
we have to go through so much yagya,
Yes.
right? We have to coordinate, we have to call, we have to clean our home, we have to cook, right? So similarly, observing or conducting a big festival is a big thing. So sometimes we may think, let's let it be. Let's not do it tonight. Let me just take it easy, right? But we should make an effort to actually not become lazy with respect to observing important festivals. We should make it a point to go an extra mile to celebrate the festivals, to observe them, do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Alright? One should not avoid bowing down before the deity. Does anyone feel that they should, when they're entering the temple, they should feel like, hey, that's okay, I don't want to bow down now? You feel like that anytime? Especially when we are in the temple for a prolonged period of time. When you have to come in and go out of the temple room 10 times in 15 minutes, do you get that thought?
No.
What is that?
No, Prabhuji. 15 times usually it doesn't happen, but to come and go, then there's some time bow down, then before leaving you bow down. But if 15 times you have to go and come in short period, every time we don't do it.
Every time we don't do it. Why?
Lack of knowledge, Prabhuji. So,
Pandurang Prabhu, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Say normally we enter first time, and if you are entering for frequently times, again, if it is sometimes I feel if it's too much like crowd in the temple, I also feel like it's just to go when the pravachan is going on in the temple. Sometimes I won't do all the deities. Just I'll go and sit in the pravachan and listen the speech. I don't know right way because sometimes I go a little late. These in the temple. The somebody will be giving talk. At the time I feel like I don't want to go around and just I will go and sit. Then after finishing lecture and all, then I will go pay obeisance to all the deities. So I did. Again,
Okay.
as I said also, like 15 times you are going, entering, coming, and for some purpose. Initially, first time we will do, and the second, third time and all. Normally, I won't feel like doing it.
Yeah. Neelwan Prabhu, any thoughts on this? Because you spend a lot of time in the temple.
Yes, bro. I mean, maximum 100% I try to do it, bro. If at all, if I have some books in my hand, then I cannot do it. Or if I'm carrying something at that time, I cannot offer obeisances. But I offer obeisances in my mind. But generally, if my hands are free, I try to offer obeisances whenever I'm entering the temple or leaving the temple.
I have seen Prabhuji doing that.
What is that?
I have seen Nilgovind Prabhu doing that. So,
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Satyadra Prabhu has confirmed that Neelgovind Prabhu offers obeisances every time he enters the temple.
Prabhuji is kind.
And every time we enter the temple and every time we leave the temple. So we come into the temple room, we offer obeisances. We get out of the temple room, we offer obeisances, right? So this is extremely important that we should, there's absolutely no concession to this rule, to this principle. No concession. We should always offer obeisances when we enter the temple room. We do a half dandvat. The moment we enter the temple room, we do half dandvat. And the moment we leave the temple room, we do half dandvat. And when we enter the temple room for the first time in the day, then we offer full dandavats to all the deities. So that is the principle. So one should not avoid bowing down. So once one decides, also to Guru, every time we see the spiritual master, we should offer obeisances. So once one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, I don't feel like offering obeisances. What should I do? So Prabhupada said, whether you feel like offering obeisances or not, you offer obeisances. And if you keep do that as a matter of principle, then gradually you will feel like offering obeisances. You see, why we don't offer obeisances? We don't feel like. Already I offered obeisances so many times to Krishna. Kya hai? And I am anyways doing devotional service. I am running around in the temple doing so much seva. Right? So we feel, that's okay. We don't feel like. So if we do it as a matter of regulation, gradually we'll feel like doing it. So this is extremely important, and also very important is it's very good for health. Our body will remain flexible. The more obeisances we offer, the back will be flexible. Right? Nowadays, back pain is a big problem amongst youngsters, everybody. Because the lifestyle is we sit on the chair whole day. Right? So that is a big problem. So from that standpoint, uh, offering obeisances will help the physical aspect of the body. Another important thing, actually, somebody was telling me a few weeks back. This person is a Muslim person, so very very God conscious, very spiritual. So he was telling me that the when we actually sit down and bow and touch our head to the ground, he was mentioning that how it's actually a yogic posture, and it allows de-stressing. He says the posture of touching our head to the ground, he was saying it's a de-stressing. If you just do that, you become de-stressed. Have you heard that ever before? Anybody heard that before?
No, Prabhuji, but it improves blood circulation and all to the brain.
What is that?
I didn't hear it before, Prabhuji, but you can feel blood circulation to the brain and after doing.
So even from a scientific perspective, the act of bowing down, it helps our mind and body. Okay, so even if we don't feel that, oh, I don't feel like offering obeisances to deity 10 times, do it for your mind, do it for your body, do it for your soul. Right? All good. Nice. Anything else on this point? One should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hands and feet after eating. Is this okay? Feet. Why
Yes,
should one
Prabhuji.
wash feet? Hands we can understand. Why should one wash one's feet? Yes.
I'm not sure about the feet, Prabhuji.
Anybody?
No idea.
Okay. So when we eat, our body becomes contaminated. Right? So our mouth, our entire body becomes contaminated. Ideally, we should take bath. In fact, after having eaten, we are not allowed to go on the altar. right? Without taking a bath. So the contamination happens and the body becomes contaminated. So one is supposed to take bath, but because it's, if you're going on the altar, that's one thing. But if you're not going on the altar, but you're entering the temple room, the allowance is given. So washing of hands, mouth, and feet is almost equal to like taking a half bath, partial bathing, right? So also it is said that uh, you know washing of the feet uh, cleanses the mind, pacifies the mind. One's mind becomes peaceful by washing feet. All the dirty energy is washed away through the washing of the feet. That's why uh, in olden days, whenever people would come after, like, they go out for a walk and then come back in, or after travel, the first thing they would do is wash their feet, right? Even when sadhus, gurus would come to people's homes, the first thing they would do is wash the feet of the guru, right? Remember that, right? So so that's the principle. So washing of the feet is considered to be a cleansing, uh, a mental and physical cleansing activity. And after eating, when body is contaminated, when one does that, one is purified, and one is able to go in front of, in the temple, uh, uh, with a purified, in a purified state. All right. One should not enter the temple in contaminated state. So I think that's clear that if somebody dies in the family, then for a certain number of days the family should not go to the temple. One should not bow down on one hand. Okay. One should not circumambulate in front of Krishna. Why one should not circumambulate in front of Krishna?
Krishna is the
Why?
center. Krishna is the center, Prabhuji.
Okay. What is the significance of circumambulating?
Giving importance.
Yes. When we circumambulate anybody, we are giving them importance. We are saying they are great. Right? So, in front of Krishna, nobody is great. So that's why we should not circumambulate in front of Krishna. Is that all right? So then why do we circumambulate Tulsi in front of Krishna?
But we close the curtain, right, Prabhu? When we do.
Close the curtain. Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you. We close the curtain, and that's why we are able to circumambulate Tulsi. So that means in front of Krishna, we should not circumambulate anybody. One should not spread his legs before the deity. It's a sign of disrespect. Not only deity, we should not spread our legs in front of anybody. Anybody elder, superior, or even younger. It's a sign of disrespect. Okay? One should not sit before the deity holding the ankles, elbows, or knees with one hand. This is a very difficult one, right? Especially in Bhagavatam class. Right, Neelgon bro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
This is extremely difficult. In Bhagavatam class going on for 1 hour, we are sitting in front of the deities, our legs are aching, and we start bending them, and somehow or other hold ourselves. Otherwise, we'll fall on the ground flat and go to sleep. Right? Avoid the next offense, which is one should not lie down before the deity. We do the 9th offense. Right? So if we are feeling sleepy, then we should stand up and walk, but not sit down in this way. It's offensive. One should not lie down before the deity of Krishna. Again, sign of disrespect. Next 5 offenses. Pandurang Prabhu, can you read the next 5 offenses?
Yes, Prabhu. One should not accept prasada before the deity. One should never speak a lie before the deity. One should not talk very loudly before the deity. One should not talk with others before the deity. One should not cry or howl before the deity.
Okay. So, one should not accept prasad before the deity. What do you mean by this? We accept Charnamrit before the deity. Right?
But regular course of meals kind of thing, Prabhu, is...
Yes. So if it is a little bit of a Mahaprasad,
yes.
We can honor it. But we should not sit down and eat in front of the deity. So I remember one festival many years back in New Vrindavan, and His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was there, and there's about 150-200 devotees. So prasadam was served in the prasadam hall, and the prasadam hall was full. So then somebody said, okay, the devotees can sit in the temple hall and eat prasad. So devotees sat down in the temple hall and they were eating prasadam. And all of a sudden, so it was not all of a sudden, it was the time of Shayan Arati, 8:30. So the pujari opened the curtains, the curtains for the Shayan Darshan, right? And everybody is eating prasad. And at that time, right at that time, Maharaj was actually, he was in the temple room. And Maharaj got so upset. He said, what is this? Devotees are eating prasadam. How can you open the curtains? Open the altar door. Maharaj said, immediately go and tell the pujari to shut the doors. To, close the altar. Right? So I immediately rushed and I told the pujari, I said, devotees are eating prasadam. Maharaj has asked that the door should be closed. Right? So this is an important principle. One should not eat honor prasad, accept prasad in front of the deity. Ramanan, Sanskrit, jao. Fatafat. Didi ko bolo ready ho jao 5 minutes. Is that okay? One should never speak a lie before the deity. We should not speak a lie. Again, sign of disrespect. One should not talk loudly before the deity. Right? Talking loudly means you're like disrespecting them. You are not cognizant of the fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is standing in front of you. So one should not talk very loudly. One should not talk with others before the deity. Oh, so what is this? We do this all the time, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, this is very difficult.
Right, we do this all the time. We talk to everybody on the planet in front of the deity. So how do we understand this?
Our only focus would be Krishna, Prabhuji, nothing else.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Hey, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, we should not talk. Say sometimes, say we'll ask something, give me or this one, but not like in. We try to talk some other topics, which is we can talk outside also. We can go outside and we can talk and finish, come back again.
Yeah.
Can we
So-
talk the deities, Prabhuji?
Can we talk to the deities?
No. Can we talk about the deities? How the deities are beautiful and the decoration and the dress and everything.
Yeah. The point that is here is
No,
one
Prajal.
should not talk with others before the deity. So we should not talk non-Krishna conscious. In front of the deity, the Bhagavatam class goes on, Kirtan goes on, glorification of the Lord goes on. So that's perfectly fine. But one should not sit down and then start entering into some conversations in front of the deities. So sometimes if, when the temple room is large, we should observe this principle at least right in front of the deities. So if you're sitting in one corner, okay, that may be allowed, but right in front of the deities, we should keep our focus on the deities, not anything else.
And also,
And this should be specifically followed on the altar. Yes, Panam Group.
no, and also say we have to mindful of other devotees also. Say some of them disturbs others also.
Yes. So other devotees are standing in front of deities and praying, and we are talking. It creates distraction, disturbs them. You're right. One should not cry or howl before the deity. So that's also considered inauspicious. So one should not do that. Like crying means crying loudly, right? Sometimes devotees may get tears in front of Krishna. That is okay. But one should not cry or howl. Alright? Next 5. Damodar Timaji.
16. One should not quarrel or fight before the deity. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity. One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. One should not wear a fur blanket before the deity.
Okay. So one should not quarrel or fight. So as a principle, one should never quarrel or fight. But at least for the deity, we should not do that. All right. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. That's also an offense. One should not be charitable to the beggars. Why one should not be charitable to the beggars? Because when we are giving charity in front of the deities, it's a sign of we are taking a superior position. So one should not do that. So one should not speak very harshly. Right? Speaking harsh is basically causing pain to somebody, right? Not cause pain to anybody in front of the deities. And fur blanket because it's made up of animal fur. So we should not wear that before the deity. Okay. Next 5. Neelgondro.
21. One should not eulogize or praise anyone else before the deity. One should not speak any ill names before the deity. One should not pass air before the deity. One should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that Lord is satisfied if some devotees offer him even a leaf or a little water. This formula is prescribed by the Lord is universally applicable, even for the poorest man. But that does not mean that one who has sufficient means of worship Lord very nicely should also have his method and try to satisfy the Lord simply by offering water and leaves. If he has sufficient means, he should offer nice decorations, nice flowers, nice foodstuffs, and observe all ceremonies. It is not that one should try to satisfy the Supreme Lord with little water and a leaf, and for himself spend all his money in sense gratification. One should not eat anything which is not offered first to Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So one should not praise anybody. So that's we understand that only Krishna has to be glorified, right? But sometimes we praise devotees in front of the deities, right? How do we understand that?
Prabhuji was about to ask that question.
Right, and I asked you. So because I asked the question first, you have to answer. Yes.
I mean, glorifying devotees means indirectly we are glorifying Guru and Krishna.
Okay. So glorification of devotees is in connection with the Lord, right? So it's contextual, that it's not independent of the Lord. It's not anti the principle of praising Krishna. So as long as it is done with keeping Krishna in the perspective and to encourage a devotee and to appreciate a devotee, then such appreciation or glorification may be allowed, right? But false glorification or flattering and those type of things must be avoided. Not speak ill names, so that's very clear. One should not pass air. That's extremely important, right? It's contaminated, so it's offensive actually, so we should not do that. One should not fail to worship deity according to one's means. What does this mean? Yes.
Yeah, it states further, according to one's means suppose a person has, if you don't have anything, you can offer water and leaf. But if you have capacity to offer nice flowers, nice decorations, we can.
Yeah. So if Krishna has given us more facilities, we should offer more to Krishna, right? So we should be conscious of what Krishna has given us and try to give as much back as possible to Krishna, right? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. As much as possible back to Krishna. One should not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna first. Hare Krishna. This is difficult, right? What do you think? Is this difficult or easy?
Difficult, Prabhuji.
Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Normally, see, the problem comes when we go out, with a team outing and like that. And sometimes snacks, we see some snacks, buying vending machines sometimes, some snacks.
Yeah, so we should, even at that time, be very conscious and offer that to Krishna first. in our mind. In our mind, we should offer to Krishna. All right. Okay. Next 5. Mataji, would you like to read the next 5 offenses?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. One should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grains to Krishna according to the season. After food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity. 28. One should not sit with his back toward the deity. 29. One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master, or, in other words, one should recite aloud the prayers to the spiritual master while offering obeisances. 30. One should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of the spiritual master. 31. One should not praise himself before the spiritual master. 32. One should not deride the demigods before the deity.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So one should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grains to Krishna. So this is again the fruit of the season, right? Whatever the season is offering, that is offered to Krishna first, right? So the principle is to become Krishna conscious, right? So we're so conscious of Krishna, we're remembering, okay, let me offer to Krishna first, right? And once the food is cooked, the first thing we have to do is offer it to Krishna. Nobody else. Nobody should even be able to see what has been cooked. Only Krishna should be able to see what is cooked. Only the cook and Krishna. Right? Sometimes we see, children will come, oh, what did you make, mummy? What did you make? Right? And they get excited. Oh, you made tamarind rice. Hari bol. Ah. Right? So that is actually contaminates the offering. So of course these are temple standards and we should try to follow as much as possible at our homes. And then also offering obeisance, one should not sit with his back towards the deities. One should be very conscious. Sometimes it can get complicated, especially in places like New Vrindavan. Because in New Vrindavan, all directions there are deities. Right? All directions. One side is Jagannath, other side is Prabhupada, other side is all the deities. Only one direction is remaining.
Krishna direction.
Right. So sometimes it can become complicated, but we have to be conscious.
But we can consider which is the main deity in the temple. We should not sit in that place.
No. Even all are main deities, right? Can we say that Jagannath is not main and Radha Vrindavan Chandra is main?
They're same, Prabhuji.
Or can we say that Radha Vrindavan Chandra is main, but Narsingadev is not main? Narsingadev will get angry. He'll say, oh, you are thinking I'm not main? Wait a minute. Right? Or if you are thinking, okay, Jagannath and Radha Vrindavan Chandra all are main, but Prabhupada is not main. So that's again offense. So it can be tricky. The main discussion can be tricky. Right? Is that okay, Pandran Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Everybody is main. All deities are main. Right? So we should be very conscious. Like once I remember, there was initiation ceremony we were conducting and we were trying to figure out where Maharaj will sit, where all the initiates will sit. So then, somebody suggested, okay, Maharaj should sit here. And then Maharaj like, how can I sit there? I'll be showing my back to Nrsimhadev. Then they said, okay, Maharaj, you sit on the other side. So Maharaj said, if I sit on the other side, all the initiates will show their back to the deities. Right.
Okay.
So then finally Maharaj said that, okay, we have to do what we have to do, but at least make sure my back is not towards the deities. so so then we had to plan a little bit, and just 1 second.
Sanskrit class.
Yeah, correct. Sorry. So yes, so this is important. We should be very conscious. One should not sit with his back towards the deity. One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master. That's also an offense. So in front of Prabhupada, in front of spiritual master, we should chant loudly. Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Chant loudly. And then one should not fail to offer some praise. So when we see the spiritual master, we should offer praise. That, Maharaj, you are extremely merciful. You are very kind. Like that, we would offer praise. Unnecessary, we should not flatter. And not talk nonsense. Sometimes, in order to offer praise, we will just, Maharaj, you are looking so good. What is that? Right? so we have to be careful, right? One should offer some praise to the spiritual master. One should not praise himself before the spiritual master. Very important. Sometimes we like to
Prabhuji, we
praise
can
others.
ask, how is your health?
Yeah, we can ask like that, right? But the first principle is we have to offer praise. We have to offer appreciation. Okay. One should not praise himself before the spiritual master. So we have to be very careful. Sometimes we like to sing our own glories, especially to spiritual master. We think my spiritual master need to know how glorious I am. Right? Maharaj, see, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm worshipping the cows, I'm serving the cows, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm preaching, I'm doing deity worship, So we have to be very careful. We should inform our services if that is the time, the right time and the opportunity. But we should not praise ourselves. And one should not deride the demigods before the deities. One should not disrespect the demigods. They are devotees of Krishna. All right. Hare Krishna. Any questions on what we have discussed today?
I have one question, Prabhu. Say,
Yes.
offering prasadam, just I can't confirm.
Honoring.
Offering prasadam to Krishna.
No.
Bhoga. Offering bhoga.
Sorry, Bhoga, sorry, Prabhu. Bhoga to Krishna. So one is, it removes all the sinful reactions because it has, when you cook, we might be affecting other creatures like that. That is the one reason. Another reason is like everything comes from Krishna, so we are offering as a thankful to him, right? What are the reasons? Reasons?
No, offering bhoga to Krishna is very simple. That because in preparing that bhoga, we have incurred a lot of sins. We have killed so many living entities, right? So by offering that, Krishna is actually taking away all that sins.
That is the main cause, Prabhu.
That is the main. That is, of course, not the main. The main thing is that we want to offer our love to Krishna,
Yes.
right? See, there are different reasons at different levels, right? At a very high esoteric level, the understanding is that we want to offer our love to Krishna. We love Krishna so much that we want to cook for him. We want to serve him all delicacies, all wonderful preparations, right? Radharani is cooking for Krishna every day, right? So she's not thinking if I don't offer to Krishna, then I'll be eating sin. That's at a very low level.
Yes.
That's for us.
Yes.
That in order to keep our body and soul together, we have to feed ourselves. In order to feed ourselves, we have to eat Krishna Prasad. So for that, you have offered Krishna. So that's for us. So at a high level, it's for love for Krishna. Lower level, it's basically to not inculcate into any sin. So like that. Does it make sense?
Yes, bro. Yeah, because say we go to our home in India, and normally we have to tell proper reasons to them. So what are the reasons we can tell? Okay, why we have to offer? We first to say love to, because
So it's like, see, very simple, right? When we are in a home and then the food is cooked, first the elders are offered, right?
yes,
So who's the eldest in our home? Krishna. Krishna is part of our family.
yes,
He's the master of the house.
Mm.
Because he's the master of the house, he gets the meal first.
Mm.
Right? So many reasons, right? For we cook for Krishna. We cook for Krishna and offer him to express our love. We feel we want to care for our Lord. He's the eldest. He's the master, so he gets first. We don't offer to Krishna, we are committing sin. By eating sin, we will be disturbed, right? And when we offer to Krishna, that means our activity of working a job and bringing money home, that activity is purified, because with that money we are buying the vegetables. So that is, there. We want to keep our body and soul together. So, in order to do that, we have to offer to Krishna. So many reasons like that. Is that okay?
yes, bro.
All right. Anything else anyone has? All right. So I think this is good. Thank you all. This is nice exercise to become conscious and avoid these offenses, so that our devotional service can be pure and can be refined, and we all can make more progress through the same activities, right? The goal is that the same activities will be the same, chanting will be the same, going to temple will be the same, cooking will be the same. But the same activities will help us of Krishna become more refined, right? We want to become refined Vaishnavas, refined devotees, and we want to, uh, decorate ourselves with these good qualities. That will help us to, in a big way, in our bhakti, in our spiritual life. So wonderful, very nice. So I want to wish all of you a very happy 2018. Really pray that all of us can make more progress in this year, become more Krishna conscious, and participate more aggressively, more enthusiastically in the mission of spiritual master. कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.